While studying geophysics or tectonics of Indian plate, we started from the disintegration of Pangaea surrounded by Panthalassa, which was termed as paleotectonics, and we studied up to Pliocene and Holocene period. Further, we studied the neotectonics which are taking place in India and in other continents. We today are going to have a glimpse of the disintegration of Earth's crust and geological chronology of India. As we know that in the beginning, all the present land masses were integrated, which were collectively called Pangaea, and were stationed at the South Pole, and this Pangaea was surrounded by the Panthalassa Ocean, that was the largest ocean body. Due to endogenic forces, the Pangaea was disintegrated in two parts, the northern part called Angara land, the southern one Gondwana land. The forces which broke Pangaea in two parts again broke the northern Angara land in mainly two parts, one North America, the other Eurasia. Likewise, the endogenic forces broke southern part, that was Gondwana land, in mainly four parts. Number 1, South America, 2, Africa, 3, Australia, and 4th, that was left in situ, was called Antarctica. Later on, Indian plateau was separated from Africa. It is now the physical part of Eurasia, while geologically it was part of Africa or Gondwana land. Now, its history has been traced in several phases, starting from here, Pangaea, to the latest or present position. Here on this board there are two columns. One is this, where the Pangaea was broken into several parts and gradually its disintegrated parts moved northward, the description of which are here chronologically and incidence wise. You are seeing the straight vertical column line. It shows that the disintegrated Pangaea moved gradually northward. But as India was broken, separated from Africa, crossed equator, the second phase of the tectonics starts from here. And now India is moving towards north. Out of Tethys geosyncline, folded mountain Himalayas comes into existence, and now its motion becomes northeastward. You are seeing very minutely the linear setting of these maps or pictures. Here in first column it is vertical because Indian plate was moving northward in the beginning at the rate of 12 cm per year, but in the second phase, from here, the Indian plate started moving northeastward at the rate of 4.5 cm per year after the collision of the Indian plate with the Tibetan plateau near Dras. Thus, chronologically, we have to start from here, Pangaea. It is the time about 600 million years ago, and the period was Precambrian, when on the Earth's surface Aravalli, Appalachian, Laurentides, and other folded mountains came into existence due to shrinking of the Earth crust, and this was the phase of cooling and solidification of the Earth crust. As we know that in the beginning, the crust of the Earth made up of gaseous was very hot. In contact with atmosphere, the upper layer or crust cooled down, hence solidification started and some folded mountains came into existence. In the second stage, this is the period about 500 million years ago, when it was the Cambrian period, in which Vindhyan and Kudapa geosynclines became active, and out of Vindhyan geosyncline, Vindhyan and Satpura folded mountains came into existence. Likewise, the Kudapa district is located in Andhra Pradesh along the eastern coast of India, and Kudapa geosyncline extended in the south from Nilgiri to Meghasani hills in Odisha. Thus, out of the Kudapa geosyncline, East Ghat mountain came into existence. And thus, if we study the lithology or rocks of the Vindhyan and Eastern Ghat mountain, calcareous deposits are found, which indicate that these basins, these geosynclines might have some calcareous deposits. Thus, these consist of calcareous deposits. Now come to about 270 million years ago, that was Permian period. In the Permian period, the Permo-Carboniferous glaciation started and covered especially the southern part of the Earth planet, because on the Earth there has been two phases of glaciation. One, the past glaciation of Carboniferous or Permo-Carboniferous period. The second glaciation is the latest one, that is Pleistocene glaciation. And in the Pleistocene glaciation, the present distribution of continents and lands were there. That's why the glaciations are the process of freezing of water starting from both the poles, north and south. Thus, in Pleistocene period, when glaciation started from the North Pole, its evidences are traced in Canada and North Europe. While in Carboniferous period, the northern continents were physically attached with the southern continents, and that was Pangaea, and it had disintegrated. Hence, the trace of the Permo-Carboniferous glaciation are recorded in the southern part of the continents. For example, India in the Permo-Carboniferous period was physically attached with Africa. Hence, the glacial process advanced from the South Pole, Antarctica region, northward, and the granitic tars, result of glacial and especially periglacial process, are found in Jabalpur. Thus, the Permo-Carboniferous glaciation records are not only found in India, rather in South America, that is Brazil, in South Africa and Australia. Now, about 200 million years ago, it was Carboniferous period, and the end of Permo-Carboniferous glaciation came to an end, and at that time opening of the Tethys Sea started. It shows that about 200 million years ago, in south Gondwana land, in the north Angara land came into existence, and the opening of Tethys Ocean began. Now it is time about 180 million years ago, when the endogenic forces which broke the Pangaea in Gondwana and Angara land broke the North Angara land in two parts. The western part of Angara land was North America, eastern part Eurasia. In between, the rift opened, the water of Tethys Ocean and some water of Panthalassa was filled, and the opening of North Atlantic Ocean started. about 120 million years ago, the same process, same endogenic forces broke the Gondwana land in the south, and when Gondwana land was broken, its two main parts, that is the South America and Africa, got separated. In between the two, rift was filled, which was filled with the water of Tethys Ocean and the Panthalassa Ocean, thus opening of the South Atlantic Ocean, and at the same time opening of Indian Ocean started, because this was the time, that is about 120 million years ago, when Australia got separated from Africa, thus Indian Ocean started. Now there may be a question by the Commission. In the North and South Atlantic Ocean, large amount of water whether came from this Tethys or Panthalassa. Certainly it was Panthalassa, because with the Tethys Ocean there is only one way or connection of water, while Panthalassa has connection from all sides. That's why you will tick Panthalassa. And next we reached about 100 million years ago, when there was the Raj Mahal lava flow. It means now we are going to concentrate on the Indian plateau, because India by this time got separated from Africa. Raj Mahal is a region in Chota Nagpur, eastern part of the Indian plateau. At the time of Raj Mahal lava, India was about 20 degrees south latitudinal position than its present position. It means at present, today, in 2019, India, Cape Comorin is located at 8 degree 4 minute north latitude, and if pull or drag the India 20 degree south latitude, its Cape Comorin will be positioned at about 12 degrees south latitude. It means India in geological past was at south. These are the evidences which express that India moved from south to north, and in geological past India was on equator. But in books it is written that equator passed through India. Both are correct, but only perception and conception should be clear, that India was physically on equator. It is India or Indian plate which is moving, which is changing its latitudinal position. These are not the equators or other latitudes which are shifting or changing their geographical position. So which one is better to say? Means India was on equator, and on India there are the traces of the equatorial evergreen forest. Now story comes again at the bottom. Here the India moved northward at the rate of 12 centimeter per year, and east northwestern part, that is the extended part of Aravalli, collided with Tibet at present Dras in Jammu and Kashmir, and due to collision here the rift between Africa mainland and India widened, and with the result Carlsberg Ridge opened, and Carlsberg Ridge is today an active volcanic and tectonic zone out of which magma is coming, and the result is the widening of this Arabian Sea. Likewise, from Indian plateau land, this Australia got separated, resulting into the opening of 90-degree east ridge, and 90-degree east ridge is in Bay of Bengal, in the lineament of Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Malda Gap, which is tectonically and seismically still active, and it is the story of about 80 million years back. Now, 70 million years before, a new incident took place, because at that time the Western Ghat Formation and Bombay High Petroleum formed. Here, due to collision of the western part of Indian Plateau with Tibet, there was a linear pressure due to which the Arabian block or land was separated, fractured from the main plateau of India, and it subsided. Hence, it was overlain with the water of Indian Ocean, and the equatorial forests were also submerged, which were covered with thick layer of alluvium called Bombay High, below which the petroleum and gas deposits of Bombay High are found. And what is the cause of this fracture? It is supposed by the geologists that when the western part of Indian Plateau, that is Aravalli, collided with Tibet Plateau, due to its linear pressure, it was broken, but at the same time, due to the collision of the Aravalli with Tibet, and before that with the sediment deposited in Tethys geosyncline, this was raised up and it rose in the form of Karakoram range. Karakoram range is not a part of the Himalayan range because Karakoram phase occurred before the origin of the greater Himalayas. Second point is because Karakoram has not so much length as all the three ranges, that is greater, middle and Shivalik of Himalayas from Nanga mountain to Namcha Barwa. And the third incidence that took place is Deccan lava flow. Because these three occurred simultaneously, means origin of Karakoram and the subsidence of the Arabian block, and at the same time the fracture at the plateau region, especially Maharashtra region, was renewed, and out of that fracture the volcanic lava deposit, especially in Cretaceous and Eocene period, occurred. Now come to about 50 million years back, Oligocene period started. In this Oligocene period, Indo-Australian plate again reunited. Why? Because these were separated from along 90 east ridge, but due to the collision of the Aravalli at Dras, the eastern part of Indian plateau was tilted, and its tectonic movement became from southwest to northeast, although it was decelerated, but due to its northeastward motion, it is reunited with Australian plate, and the gap along this 90 east ridge was minimized or filled. Thus, this Indian plateau and Australian plate became reunited. Next, come to about 40 million years ago, when it was Eocene to Oligocene period. During Eocene and Oligocene period, due to northeastward movement of Indian plateau, and pressure exerted by the northern margin of Indian plateau, greater Himalayas came into existence, extending completely from Nanga mountain to Namcha Barwa. This was in full length and maximum height because this was the first pressure, forceful vehement pressure exerted by the Indian plateau. Now about 14 million years back, Middle Himalayas came into existence. After the origin of Greater Himalayas, the southern geosyncline of Tethys Ocean was filled with the sediment brought down by the glaciers, periglaciers, and glaciofluvial processes from Greater Himalayas. Sediment was filled in the south-lying Tethys geosyncline, on which the force from the southwest was of the northern margin of peninsular India. Hence, the Middle Himalayas came into existence. At the same time, the Indo-Brahma River came into existence, which we had already discussed, that the Sampo River from the Tibet region crossed Greater Himalayas as an antecedent river, and its water came south through Korba Gorge, and it started moving westward, and it was located at present Shivalik range. Hence it was also called Shivalik River, or it was also called Brahma River, but it ultimately joined river Indus. Hence it was collectively called Indo-Brahma. But if there is question in prelims which one is Indo-Brahma, main Indo-Brahma, number 1 is river Indus, number 2 is Brahmaputra or Shivalik. Brahmaputra means the past Sampo plus past Shivalik, both collectively were called Brahmaputra. So, but the present Brahmaputra has turned south, that will be discussed later on. It means this Indo-Brahma river came into existence. Now geological history comes 75,000 years ago, that is Pliocene period. This may be called the present period of geological history, although it is Holocene period that is running in the present geological phase. But since the Pliocene period to Holocene period and even at present, these incidents are taking place. For example, Shivalik formation. Shivalik was formed out of Shivalik river due to the pressure of northern margin of peninsular India. A mountain range came into existence. At the same time, the western part, that is Aravalli, was also elevated. Hence, the Indian plateau slopes from northwest to southeast, and the direction of the Brahmaputra river, in spite of west, turned south. Second geological incidence is the formation of Malda Gap. Malda Gap, you might be knowing that it is here in the eastern part in Bangladesh, and Malda Gap separates Chota Nagpur Plateau from Meghalaya Plateau, and Malda Gap is still undergoing subduction, which is evidenced by the erect Sundari trees at the depth of 15 to 150 meters from sea level. And at the same time, new course of Indo-Brahma was formed, that we have discussed, that due to emergence of the Aravalli region, and at the same time the orogeny of Shivalik, the water of the Brahmaputra river turned south and started flowing southward just to the course along the west margin of this Meghalaya plateau. And with the result, new drainage pattern of India evolved, and at present Indo-Australian plate being disintegrated. How new drainage pattern evolved? Because in geological past 75,000 years ago or before that, the drainage pattern of India was from east to west, evidenced by the Shivalik river from east to west, and the main drainage pattern of India, that is Indo-Brahma, also from east to west, and the Narmada, Tapti and other rivers which cut the western ghats formed a number of ghats even present: Bhor Ghat, Thal Ghat, Par Ghat, Pal Ghat, Agumbe Ghats are the result of the erosion of the rivers of plateau land from east to west, but due to the rising of the western part of Indian plateau, the drainage pattern became from northwest to southeast. For example, Ganga, Brahmaputra and other rivers from the Himalayas and plateau land, and Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. Likewise, one more geological incidents took place, that is, Indo-Australian plate disintegrated. At present, this 90 East Ridge is very much active, evidenced by the active volcano at Barren, and now this gap is widening. Thus, the width of Bay of Bengal is also widening, and Australian plate is moving northeastward. This Indian plate also. Thus, this is the present tectonic activity, and all these points are very important. In present, these may be asked as current tectonic activities, but this story does not stop here, rather it moves ahead, and that will be studied by us in the name of neotectonic, wherein we will have two important points. Number one, in the western part of India, DHH, Delhi, Haridwar, Harsil Ridge, where in neotectonic will be focused especially, and in eastern India, here 90 East Ridge, Malda Gap, and Everest lineament, where neotectonic is also taking place, which will be studied separately. Thus, this story focuses on the geological history or chronology of India with reference to the disintegration of the earth crust.